Hi all, my name's Akhil from ourmortgagebroker.co.uk. Today I'm joined by Dil Gujral from 1996 Party Wall. Hi Dil, thanks for joining me.
Hi Akhil, thank you for having me. Great pleasure to be here.
No, likewise. Dil, first question, why 1996partywall.co.uk?
Okay, the name of the company is referring to the name of the Act, Party Wall, etc. Act 1996. And the numbering is so we get above everybody else who's in the party, who's got Party Wall in the name. So that's the reason for the name.
Right, and that's when the Act started, was it, 1996?
That's the name of the Act. It actually came into force on the 1st of July 1997. So a little bit of, with Acts of Parliament, they sometimes take time, but that's the reference for the Act.
That's good, great for branding. All right, beautiful. Yeah. So could you just give our guests a bit of a synopsis on what Party Wall is, and in essence, what do you do and how you help your clients?
Sure. So the Party Wall Act comes from a previous piece of legislation called the London Building Act 1939. And that's where all the planning laws and building control laws and so forth come from. And when they initially brought over planning in 1947 after the war, they also brought over building control later on, but they left the Party Wall element out. And in the 80s, when everybody started doing loft conversions, rear extensions, and there was also a change in the building control regulations to ask for deeper foundations, and that goes back to the 76 heat wave. They brought in the element and renamed it as the Party Wall Act. So that's where it all sort of comes from.
Okay, and with your experience and your expertise, who should be contacting you with Party Wall advice on the subject of Party Wall?
So people usually think of it as two categories: building owners and adjoining owners. But if you could put the slide up, I've given you a little slide.
Yeah, sure.
That can be meaningless to people because they don't understand what's a building owner or what's an adjoining owner. And those are sort of more terms that are referred to by surveyors. So if we take a step back, I've categorized it into 5 groups. The first level of groups, if you like, are the people who are doing extensions to their own personal house. So this would be if you're doing a loft conversion, you're doing a rear extension, you're taking your chimneys out, and this is surprising because everybody thinks chimneys is the least amount and they don't need to worry about it. You're taking chimneys out, you're building a porch on occasions, and the big one is obviously basements. So those are residential guys. And then you've got developers. Now, if you've got a buy-to-let and you're extending it, I think of you guys as developers, although there's no difference in the Act. The Act actually doesn't differentiate between residential or commercial. It applies to all properties in England and Wales.
Right.
So the reason I put down a personal house and commercial developers, and by that I would even if you've got a residential property that you're just extending to add value. The reason I put that down is if you're in your personal house and works come to a standstill for 2 to 3 months while you're sorting Party Wall Act, okay, it's not going to be a great time. You're not going to be happy about it. You might end up with the roof off your house and sitting there for 2 to 3 months while the Party Wall bit's sorted out. But it's not going to affect your finances, or it's not going to affect the finances of a project. Whereas if you've borrowed money to upgrade a buy-to-let building and you're losing rent, that has a different impact. And obviously, where we go to commercial projects, and you've borrowed money from bridges or development finance, and it comes to a standstill, and your project is slightly more complex, that has a much bigger effect on your cash flow and profitability of your project. So that's why I put those 2 groups up. The next group you'll see is the finance guy. So, and I know you deal with bridging finance and development finance. and I think it's both for the people doing the financing and developers borrowing it. The party wall is one of those things for both of those groups that can be dealt with at the beginning when you haven't got builders on site. And I know developers are always keen to start as soon as possible because they count the cost of not of standstill or almost on a daily basis, the funds that it's cost to borrow and so on and so forth. But dealing with party walls before work started is much easier than having to deal with it halfway through, stopping the works. You're potentially running into contractual problems with your contractors, and when sites are halfway through, it costs much more to pause, close them down, and then to get going afterwards. So it's one of these things. It's a bit like insurance and so forth. It's much better to deal with up front than to try and muddle your way through when you get hit in the middle of it. So that's one of the groups. And the next group I've got on there is probably property managers. Now, these are the guys. So where you've got a buy-to-let investor, if you're looking at residential property, the party wall affects them on the other side, i.e. where they've worked hard to get their residential property. And look, for residential, for buy-to-let people, for buy-to-let landlords, it's very hard to keep on top of all the legislation and keeping your building up to date anyway. So where they've got it up to date and you know they've invested the time and money into getting the building up to date, the next door's doing work, and they might mean all well and good. The intention might be all well and good, but the act is there to protect them, and it's the quality of the builders you're having to face. You know, the owners might be, you know, very nice people, but you're having to deal with how their extension's been designed and the way the works are executed. That could have an impact on their buy-to-let property. And if you've got several of these or you're managing a big portfolio, that's one of the things that buy-to-let managers or property managers become unaware of. Right. And they're not always understanding that they need to apply to notices and deal with this in the same way as other stuff, except the party wall act is there to protect them on this front. And then the fifth group I've got in there is architects. So the
Adil?
Architects in the Party Wall Act. So I've put together a brief slide. It's an extract from one of my talks. It's just to think of these five groups as quite key in terms of how the Party Wall Act can affect them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Dil. So what I've taken away from that and what I share with my clients when I'm referring them to you going forward is to ensure that they engage with you at the same time that they engage with the developers and architects and planning consultants. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, so bring us in as soon as you can in the process. So the process, most people have come across party wall surveyors. It'll say, yeah, the guy turned up, took a few photos, and he disappeared. So that in a sense, if you like, is the tip of the iceberg. You know, 90% of the work is done in the background, and most of it starts as soon as you get a first idea of the type of project you're going to do, basically the first draft of your drawings, if you like.
Right. Okay, yeah. Perfect. I'll leave your contact details in the comments when we share it on all the social media handles.
Great.
Appreciate that, Dil. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
What I would say to everyone is party wall surveying is, it can be a right pain. I've had some clients that have faced issues on the back end of doing developments and conversions, and they've had to engage with the likes of Dil, and it can be quite a costly exercise. So if you can, make sure you engage and engage with the right people that can give you the right advice at the forefront rather than the back end, because it could save you a lot of time and aggro. But Dil, thank you so much for joining me today. I will leave Dil's contact details below, so feel free to reach out Dil Gujral at 1996partywall.co.uk. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for having me, Akhil. And to everybody, stay safe and best of luck getting through these difficult times. Look after yourself and your family.
Thank you, Dil.